Hello guys. So I was asked to talk about Glayde. So just a little note before I go down with her. She was basically added the patch they nerfed Angela, and to be honest, they kind of built her to force us to buy her, in a sense that she technically is the 5-star meta. So I am gonna have a very negative opinion of her. Also, I'm light, and I'll explain why later. But she's gonna get nerfed pretty soon. It's just a question of time. So I wouldn't advise considering her as a permanent solution. Only time will tell how they will nerf her, but it is clear that she's currently broken. The only reason that no one's complaining is because people are not using her correctly in the majority. So let's get started. I'm just gonna say Glade, man. I don't know why they have these card tags on their things. So let's look down at the abilities. Just checking. Yeah, that's working. Okay. So looking at the position, it's a goalkeeper. Well, the obvious kind of shit. Vitality main stat, technique second main, all the regular stuff for a goalkeeper. I mean, I don't think I need to explain about that. So Ace Burst, increased pass effect and max life of Thunder players. Honestly, this could actually be used. The thing is, you should not be running her in Mono Thunder. That it's not where she's going to be the most powerful. I'll explain why in a minute, but as much as honestly, she is the best Mono Thunder goalkeeper, even without an E, she is able to outrank a Raclette if built correctly. But if you really want to max her out, you're actually going to need to go in the Rainbow Way of Life. Now, let's look exactly at what's going down skill wise. The real issue is going to be one specific skill. So, forward pass, recover the action bar by 30%, life by 30%, and increase the reflex by 30% of the designated target. Basically, this is going to be kind of very powerful because her active heals her 30%. Well, every other goalkeeper active is either a buff before they get hit, or it's going to be something based on that. Now the second skill, analyze past pattern, recover 35% of lost life and 20% spirit when an ally within the position makes a pass. So this does mean that when she uses her active, she will be healing 65%. That's a little bit too much. I'm just saying. Another problem here is this means that she's going to be healing 17.5% in PvP on a pass. I think that everyone running Wormwind with BT is gonna say, "What the hell is this?" I'm just pointing that out. We're not even on the broken part yet. Avoiding responsibility. Increase the effect of applied support skills by 35%. Active only when placing goalkeeper position. Yes, because we know exactly how we would have broken that. But 35%. Now this right here, this is where the thing is broken, but just we're gonna go back to it in a second. Decrease the inflicted damage by 35%. Increase critical resistance by 35% when your life is 45% or higher. Well, we don't honestly care about that skill. So the issue, well, it just has a nice 35% DR. So I base just 35% DR, but she's not going to be caring about that as much as other skills. Now, the first thing is she's going to heal around 35% when she makes a pass and generate spirit when anyone in the line makes a pass. This is why you're going to want to have, of course, passers in the back line. But this will allow certain really broken combos, especially if you feel like putting a Gibril in the back line who's going to do an active pass to a passer who can then do a forward pass, all of this healing back Glayde to 100%. But that's sadly not even the most broken combo that you could do with her. The most broken combo is basically put an elemental resistant totem. And the thing is, that totem is actually going to have the elemental resistance skill buffed by 35%. That means that Glayde has a 40.5% resistance that cannot be blocked, that cannot be stopped against the opposing element, who is extremely powerful in itself. That alone makes her broken, because that means she has more resistance in a single totem that she has in her last skill. That's why it's not even that important she has a skill. On top of it, you can throw in a Duran. So you throw a Duran, you throw in the elemental totem, and now what you want to do if you want to break this even more, if you want to try to reach very close to 50% resistance of any form of damage unblockable, throw a Jiho Ace. Bam, you're done. Those are only 3 players in a backline. We've already created something completely broken. Then if you want, you can throw a Gibril, you can throw an Askeladd, you can throw an Elemental Rest Totem. It's up to you. You can even throw Nerua mid. I've seen a lot of people that were trying to cheese it with her. It can be extremely powerful. And this is why, honestly, this skill is broken. Now, the thing is, really to maximize her, you will need a Durant. You will need things like that to really push her to the max. But it is honestly clearly broken. Now, if we look at her chains, they're also broken, to be honest. So we're looking at the Nemesis. Well, okay, Angela, it's kind of dead nowadays. Robin, that will never activate. I'm not even going to talk about Newt, but Kurapila, this is something that will activate because that is honestly the best frontline Thunder passer. And you could always throw her in. But since it doesn't actually affect her survival, it doesn't matter for right now. Then you have Nikita. That's pretty good. Doesn't really give the stat you want. But if you're running in Mono Thunder, right there, that's also going to activate. So two key players in Mono Thunder are right there. You could even throw a good old Jury in center mid. It actually works pretty well. And for the affection chain, this is where you get the bacon, because that's the one that actually increases the life and therefore the survival of the player is Leventor, who, well, Leventor being officially the strongest striker of the current meta, is, well, the best that you would get currently. That's why most rainbows have actually switched from William to Leventor, but that's more a technical issue. It depends what legends you're running and blah blah blah. Conclusion is Leventor is very strong currently. So chain wise, she'll get the affection one, pretty good chance. Stone wise, she also has some really great stoning. You can put the Dark Life Stone that gives some DR right there. Since she heals so much, healing her more wouldn't be the greatest idea. Um, what you can try to do is throw another Thunder DR, throw the Wormwind, the POME, and for the stone slot again, put a Dark Life Stone. That's gonna give her a really nice base DR right there. The stones are perfect for it. On top of it, I remember right, the Thunder DR stone even generates spirits when shot at. So that's really gonna stack nicely. And another thing you're gonna notice is with the new Wormwind Stone being a DR line buff, it's also going to affect this skill because it didn't feel broken. I mean, this skill, it didn't feel broken enough. So honestly, she's completely broken when compared to every other goalkeeper in the current meta, who all have certain conditions and certain ways to be played. And she just heals more than them, takes more advantage of totems, and even her 45% condition. I mean, if she's shot at, she has to make a pass. Who's gonna heal her so much? It still feels really unfair compared to every other goalkeeper. So, as a lot of people were already saying, she is broken. You don't need Durant to really push her towards that limit. And there's a bunch of different builds that people have already seen. But the one difference between her and Presti is that Presti really cares about the stones on her. If you get broken stones, broken subs, she will be broken. Especially if you can throw a little Durant and Ardor Unique. I've seen some really nice combos with that who are extremely hard to beat. But in the case of Glayde, it's more a question of what legends and line players do you have to support and how well maxed out they are. So it's kind of a double-edged blade because usually you're going to specifically build a goalkeeper, but in Blade's case, getting some better liners is actually going to help her much more, who is kind of weird, but that's how her kit works. So I hope this gives a little idea on how Glayde works. But again, she is, at least in my opinion, one of the two top goalkeepers of this current meta with Presti. And I'm sorry, Jen, even through your strong, you're not meta. Honestly, I feel even Isilla could outrank him, who's kind of sad. Unless you're talking critical resistance, then he's still meta. But that's kind of dead because penetration is a new gig. So I hope this helps you guys understand the basics of how Glayde works. If you have any questions, comments, write it down in the description. And if I could, I would even turn this into a rant thread. But we all know she's gonna get nerfed and gonna get the Angela treatment. I honestly give it 4 months and then she's gonna be nerfed to the ground. Because every skill is too powerful and that's kind of a problem. So have a good day, guys.